So, hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am, well, Walter is here. He's just getting situated, but I'll bring him up in just a few. But anyway, this is Wealth Wednesdays, where we like to talk about money and other trending topics. So I like to say the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. So, of course, on Wealth Wednesdays, here with Walter, we discuss strategies, I guess, on how to make and keep money. Of course, we always welcome you all to ask any financial question that you have, and Walter or myself will do our best to try to answer those questions. I like to say that neither one of us are licensed at all, so just take that with caution. Today, we're going to be talking about Eboni K. Williams. She's a TV personality. She was trending starting last week and still kind of trending. Ayala Van Zandt asked her a question that seems like it kind of caught her off guard, and she's been taking some flack because of her answer. And she also did a response video, but basically, she said that she would not date a bus driver, but of course, we'll get into all of that. So who else is on here? Jamarcus, how you doing? Only Panelist Way, and Daryl, of course. I'd like to welcome YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation, and not only are you just viewers per se in the comment section, I have put the link on YouTube for you all to click on if you want to come on and say something really quick or whatever, ask a question. We welcome you to do that when I give the prompt to do that. So, Walter, are you ready? Let's see if he's ready. If not, I'll go ahead and start playing the video. Walter? I'll remove him. All right, so anyway, I'm going to play y'all the video, okay? So last week, Eboni, I guess she's also a TV host on The Griot. She was sitting down with Ayala Van Zandt. Of course, you guys know if Ayala Van Zandt is this, I guess, wisdom guru or whatever within the Black community. She's been that for a long time. She had a show on OWN, Oprah's previous network, where she would try to fix people's life, right? The show was called Ayala Fix My Life. So I guess she was sitting down with Eboni K. Williams, and this is what came out of, and Harmony, Peace, and Tranquility, how you doing? This is what came out of the first conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up.
You cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man. So I will not ask you to indict men in this question. But I do want you to speak, Ayala, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it, if he owns the bus,
that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would.
Right. So, of course, with that, Ayala kind of, I don't know if she took her to task, but she did say, okay, we got it all wrong here because, again, I just want to kind of recap. She asked Eboni, would you date a bus driver? She says, well, if he owned the bus, that she would. And so she was like, we got it all wrong, right? We can't really judge men by, certain standards and this, that, and the other. So I guess Eboni felt what they call a certain type of way. Hi, Naima, how you doing? And Arniva, what's going on? She felt a certain type of way. So this was her response to all of that. Check it out.
50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
All right, so y'all heard her. That was Ebony's, I guess, response to all of the vitriol that she was getting online from her original conversation with Ayala. Again, where Ayala asked her, would you date a bus driver? She says, if he owned the bus. So again, at this video I just showed, she's basically saying that our standards are too low. Men are, being coddled for earning C's and D's. And she also said that she would not provide a soft place for you to land with low expectations. And she also went on to say how black women are being shamed as being gold diggers. I guess because of what she said, she would only date the owner of the bus. And then she also brought white supremacy into the conversation, basically saying that white supremacy have sold black people a bad bill of goods, right? With settling for less and settling for low expectations. So I think I did a good job on recapping that. I still see Walter running around there. When he's seated, I will bring him up. All right, so we're going to get into, I'm going to open the link in just a minute, but I want to see what who all came on here. Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? Peace and love, family is what you say. It says the cheapest city bus costs $500,000 to $700,000 if electric. It says the average black bus driver is not allowed to own a city bus. This black woman lost her damn mind. It looks like you said get a passport. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hello, Easy. How are you doing today? Facts Not Feeling says get on the plane, brothers. Get on the plane. So again, that is, I guess, you're telling brothers to get a passport and go get a woman somewhere else. And Alfred, how you doing? Says I did watch some of that interview. The answer she gave, it seems like she's a woman with a high body count. She says she has done them all. And I just did a quick research on her before I came on here. So she's, I think, 30. I think she's 40 now. So she's 40. She was with, I don't know if they were engaged. Well, it says her ex-boyfriend, fiance, the white guy by the name of Steve Glenn. He is a CFO. He was at the time, I guess, when they were together, CFO of a private equity firm. Says that he has a $2 million house in New Jersey somewhere. She's worth about $3 million. Also sounds like she is a lawyer, TV host, and she was on the Real Housewives of New York, from what I understand. Also looks like she is a host on The Griot, which is where that both interviews and commentary came from. So it looks like the last guy she was with was white. Sounds like they were together for 4 years. And for what I read, it could be gossip. I don't know. She broke it off with him during the pandemic. I guess because he has adult children, and he didn't want to leave them to get, I guess, quarantine with her. So that's kind of what I read. I don't know who she's with now. It says she's single. That might not be true. So I'm just telling y'all what I know about her. Kiki says, I mean, I don't think like her, but I'm not going to judge what she wants for herself. Every other race of women get to choose what they want in a man without backlash, except for Black women. Sisters are always being told either lower their expectations or settle. She has the right to want what she wants in a man, like it or not. I don't disagree with you there. Let's see here. Facts Not Feelings says bigotry of low expectations. She sounds like a white supremacist. Well, she's saying that white supremacy has caused Black people to have low expectations. Jan Michael, how you doing? He says, hey, and greetings. He says she certainly didn't I think like being checked dishy. A good start, smile. Yes, yeah. She was uncomfortable. You could tell when Ayala was kind of, giving her a little pushback. Anthony, how you doing? He says you'll never hear that from other races of women on their man. I'm sorry, Black folks. Alfred says she has done them all men, all well. Yeah, I heard her say that. I don't know if she necessarily meant like, I can't tell you what the lady meant. And Easy says everyone can't be upper class. And Naima says the majority of people live average. Everyone can't be business owners. And Anthony says they have their men back poor or rich. Fast Not Feeling says, get on the plane, brothers. Women overseas look just as good and better. They serve you and they are soft and not vile. Man, Deanna, I'm calling my daughter. I want to show y'all something. I actually need to get back with this gentleman. He wrote a book and I read it, and it's a doozy. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm trying to have him come interview. Let's see here. Rory, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. You says, Demetra, when you finna stop playing and let a young hustler smash something, you playing games, I want you to be my little bae. Well, you know what?
Not for $19. Add some zeros, baby. I'll sign off on it myself.
Can you bring me that book the guy wrote? You know what? I'm flattered. Thank you so much. I really do love and appreciate you for that. Alfred, he says, I would not date a high body count woman, especially if she has done them all, like she stated. So really quick, I'm going to give it to you, Walter, for just a second. But I want to interview this gentleman named Angelo Bryant. I don't know if y'all can see the book here. Has a very big behind on it. Okay. And the name of the book is Vacation in Brazil Cost Me Everything. Everybody plays the fool. I will tell you. It is his story. I read it in less than a day. It was that interesting. Like it was a page turner. So for a lot of you gentlemen that think that women over there are so much better, they're never going to cause us any problems. Man, when I interview this brother, y'all gonna think twice. I'm gonna tell you, it was good. Anyway, I'll keep reading. Hello, Thunder. How are you today? Anthony says 40 is old, not gonna lie. I mean, it depends on who you ask, right? Because some of these people out there, men and women in their 20s and 30s, and it's like, damn, you look rolled hard and put away wet. What happened to you? Out there burning the candle at both ends? I mean, come on, Facts Not Feelings says, when a woman says she has done them all, she means that dudes are in corporate America. White guys have all done her. Oh, my God. Anthony says, and she's a divester. I don't know. And she looks like she might have a little, she's mixed with something. I don't know. Maybe she's not. So I don't know. If only Pamela's the way you say zaddy lover. Arnie Williams says, if all Black girls and women had her mindset, do you think the brothers would step up their game? I think that's a really good question. And Walter, I'm going to let you actually take it over from there. Did you hear the question that was asked?
Would that force brothers to step their game up? Yes, of course it would. So a couple of things, and I don't have a clear answer because I was really caught off guard by the beginning, how she doesn't date a bus driver, but then when I listened to her answer, it actually made more sense. Realistically, most women that are on the move will not date a guy. it's an income thing. I mean, the bus drivers, some bus drivers, like I have a friend that's a bus driver that makes 50 grand. So, I mean, I wouldn't consider that broke. You know, and a lot of the bus drivers, actually, it's funny, you know, you have some bus drivers out there making 50, 60 grand driving the bus, especially if they work for like the city bus and they've been there for a while. So I think we just shit on the bus driver, but some of those guys do very well. Especially if you live in Texas and you're driving the bus and you're making 50 grand, you can live, I mean, now, see, the crazy part, if your woman is also driving the bus and you driving the bus and y'all both making 50, you're making 100 grand in the household. I mean, that's even in California, you can live on that. So sometimes I think we get off by criticizing the occupation. 1, 2, and you guys, you know where this really comes from? Like, a lot of our movies, like if you watch like the Tyler Perry movies, you got Shamar Moore in the bus, driving the bus, which is saying, okay, he's a good brother. Even though he drives the bus, he's a good brother. So a lot of our movies and some of the things that we grab onto show that, okay, like the rich dude is the shit dude. You know, in all the movies, the rich black guy is the asshole, and the bus driver or the guy that's raking leaves for the school, he's a good dude. So there's a whole lot going on in this whole atmosphere that we need to correct. Now, she made a good point. I want to work with somebody that's doing better. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think they had to. I think she was baited by putting the bus driver tag on it. You know, but if you want to date a guy, like if you want to date a guy that's making $20,000 a year, that's your business. And women make a business decision when they date. Hey, girl, I met this guy last week. Oh, yeah? What does he do? Fellas, I met this girl last week. What does she look like? How is she? So women go off of security, and that has to do with money. And it's one of the reasons I work my ass off. I mean, when I take care of my kids, I got a lot of kids and a lot of people I support. But like, if you take women out of the picture, I don't work out as much as I do. I don't eat the food. I mean, I eat the foods I do, but like just sometimes I get in the gym just so like when I put on when I put my shirt on, it fits like this one right here. And that's not for men. That's for women. Say what's up to my son. That's what's up. That's Evan.
Oh.
Yeah, he coming to take, or he coming to work so he can take over this dynasty soon to be. This is your computer over here. So if you take women out of the equation, a lot of us men aren't working as hard. Like, cause let's keep it real. If I want to enjoy my life, I can go to Mexico and no, not as a passport, bro. Cause yeah, dealing with women overseas, that shit is just as crazy as dealing with women over here. Actually, over there is worse because they keep blowing you up and emailing you to send money to their family. And they're sleeping with everybody. So, but you take women out of the equation going back, there's a lot of stuff that men don't do. Like I can go to the beach and drink beer and have tacos and sit on a sailboat with my boys and fish all day and go to Europe and do that. The only reason that we work as hard as we do, at least a lot of us, is for the opposite sex. Period. There's some days I will shave. If I know that I'm not going to see my woman or be around the opposite sex, I won't even shave. What's the point? My boys don't care. I can have an afro to the sky and a bully. My boys don't care. It's the women that I do it for. So she does have a point in saying that men need to, some women prefer a certain security. I don't judge her for it. And women, a lot of you guys will say the same thing behind closed doors. And I'll wrap with this. A lot of women have dropped the bar for men. Y'all giving up the booty with no duty. He ain't got to earn it. Y'all climbing in the backseat of cars in the middle of the night, hopping out the window. He on his way to work, and you giving up the booty. And men, their standards have dropped. So we don't have to work as hard. I can tell you right now, I can take my ass to this club across the street from my house, and in 1 hour, I can have a girl in my house. She won't even know my name. Women have dropped their standards, so men have dropped theirs too. That's why you got all these buster dudes. Like you see a woman go to a restaurant, she got on heels, and he in a hat and a sweatsuit, and she in heels and a dress. I see that shit all day. When I travel, even here in Cali, dudes, they just in a t-shirt, pants sagging, she all dressed up. So women, you guys have lowered your standards. Period. It's just the way it is. But back off the bus drivers, because a lot of those dudes do work hard. They're dealing with your badass kids, and some of them do make good money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know why Ayala asked her that. I don't know, for whatever reason Ayala felt like that was something she should ask. But she also said that the women have standards to I guess to measure men, and they're off right now. Shahrazad Ali said the same thing. She says that the black woman cannot measure the black man by the same standards that the white man is measured by, because the black man and the white man have different circumstances, right? They have different set of things going on. And so Shahrazad also said the same thing. Me personally, well, I ain't gonna say what I think personally. I'm just gonna keep on reading. I'm gonna open the links now. If y'all want to come on, the link is on YouTube. You want to come on and give your 2 cents, we welcome that. Love to hear the entree. Thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. So the link is open, and I'll put it in the comment section in just a minute. Eunice, you say it's and how you doing, by the way? It says about a man's character as well as his spiritual and moral values. If you start younger or at a certain standard, then you can build with someone. Yeah, that's what a lot of people do, right? They marry young and they build, and then when they get older, it's like, okay, what we having for dinner? I'm not cooking. We'll go out and then we'll sit on the porch and drink lemonade, right? And then go in the house and watch TV till we fall asleep or whatever. That's how you're supposed to do it, I would imagine. And Tammy Love, how you doing? It says the bar is in hell. Well, damn.
Well, really quick, it is hot in the bar. I don't know which bar you're talking about, but it is hot up in there. And
that's about the bar to measure things is low enough to be.
I was gonna say, yeah, the bar across from my house is hell. It's hot and sweaty and geriatric jiggle. But here is the other thing. Yeah, geriatric jiggle. I made it up. You heard it here first. It's a geriatric get down. People in their 60s in the long ass suits trying to reconnect in the dancing the Mark Morrison Return to the Mac. But here is what I want to say, and this is going to sound really shitty, but it is the truth. I'm 53. And so if I were to date a woman, like for instance, if I were to go to Bumble, Match.com, Facebook dating, on one of these sites, and I were to put my profile up, most of the women my age look 20 years older. They on there, they ain't done their hair, they just sitting there like they woke up and took their profile pic. They, hey, listen, I guess weight is your thing, it's who you are, but like some of them don't even try and hide it. It's just like, so for a man like me, I have to, if I want somebody to look my age, now there's a lot of beautiful women that in their 50s that look well. I'm not saying they all don't, but most of them look like grandmama. Like seriously. So while we're on it, we might as well throw that into the pot too, just to make it hotter. Because I want women, I want y'all to fix that. Because we men out here, we working hard, at least most of us.
Brother, do you see this comment right here?
For real, I wouldn't even shower if I wasn't a woman.
If it wasn't for a woman.
Oh, well, I shower because I don't want to smell myself.
But you know what though?
There's some days I'll skip a shower. I just take a whole bath and wipe down if I ain't gonna be around a woman. I've done that.
But I'm saying I don't think he's saying something that's not rare. There's a lot of men that wouldn't take a shower if it wasn't for a woman. But like, don't you think you need to take a bath today? You know what I mean? And that's your thing. But I don't know if you're saying the reason to take a bath is because you're gonna be with a woman or around a woman. I'm not quite sure. But what about yourself? Because like I wear perfume every day for myself, and sometimes I don't even leave the house, right? It's just for me, Oh,
I don't put on perfume if I'm not gonna be around people, a woman, of any woman. I don't wear it. It's a waste of money. I don't wear perfume for myself.
Well, I'm saying because I like smelling good, and I smell it, So for me, I just think you should do those things for yourself. And yeah, it's nice if your man or your woman ain't laying next to somebody funky. That's a plus. But what about for yourself? You put spray on some smell good. You're like, yeah, I smell good today. I took a shower. I'm fresh and clean. For me, anyway. JD Informant, how you doing? Says I disagree. If women lowered the standards, they would all look like Lizzo.
Here we go with the Lizzo shit again. Let the record reflect. I did not bring it up.
Hey, brother Reggie. I ain't got nothing to say about that. Y'all want to click the link? Come on, click the link.
I mean, Lizzo cool. I mean, I think Lizzo got, yes, she added to it, but I think she got thrown into this by a lot of people. You know, I'm sure she don't like being overweight, but I think she's making the most out of it. You know what I'm saying? Lizzo got some cuts. And if you're going to be with a girl that big, be with a girl that's got her shit together. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's just good to have company. Sex ain't everything. I got some friends that look like Lizzo. They cool. You know what I'm saying? They ain't my type, but we can still kick it. Lying about what? I ain't lied today.
I hope so, Super Patriot. I was like, all right, you know, at least you're honest. But for real, there's a lot of men who just will not do it unless they woman is like, And you know what? There's some women who ain't gonna take no bath either. Like I made this video about Walmart, and people are on my bumper about this video because I said I'm about to stop going to Walmart, right? Because every time I go up in there, it's bonnets galore, it's house shoes, it's pajamas. I mean, it ain't even just the women wearing the bonnets anymore; it's the men too. And I'm like, you stupid. It's all, I'm like, I'm about to stop coming up in here. One of the last times we were in there, we heard this man hollering up in there. It was pretty scary, right? So we was like, okay, let's get up out of here. But so the point that I'm making is there's some women that look like they ain't seen no parts of no shower either that day. Because I'm thinking if you get on the bed and then you roll over, put your house shoes on and you fix your bonnet or whatever, and then you go out to Walmart, I'm like, you ain't took no bath. You just rolled out of the bed and went to the store. And this ain't even always in the morning time. It could be all types of day. And I'm like, is life that bad? I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna try it one day, just like as an experiment. Just I don't wear a bonnet. I can't do it. My head is not.
Those people, you don't need to try it. Some of those people need to be around better. That's why it's important to pick your surroundings. Because I'll be honest, when I'm around some of those surroundings, if I'm down south, I'm just hanging out. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Why would I get all dressed up today when I'm going to go out? It's going to be Ratchet Walmart Central. So the point I'm making is you have to be careful who you surround yourself with. As of late, I've been really making a big point to hang around cities, areas where people got their shit together. I go to neighborhoods where even if I pull up in my Range Rover, I feel like the brokest dude in the room. And that makes me elevate my game. It makes me do everything better, like work out, eat better. You know, like these wonderful candles from www.lyt.one. You could get one. But it makes me want to do better. Like when I'm in Ontario, Riverside, I just feel like putting on some sweats and being a hobo. But when I go out towards LA, Beverly Hills, Westwood, OC, Newport Beach, Tustin, I feel it makes me want to do better. Even when I go out to those places, I feel like, oh shit, I need to elevate my game. So I really think that's a lot of it for those people. If they would just put themselves in a better situation, I think a lot of them would do better. But right now they're just doing what they know. They don't know that they're embarrassing the race.
Yeah. Let me go back to this comment too. Ebony say what she was saying is why Black people believe they can't be owners. Yeah, I think that's where she was getting at the second video, where I guess that's kind of how she was trying to tie white supremacy and setting the bar low and low expectations. Yeah, we can be owners. Black people actually used to own a bus line back in the day when the whole civil rights thing was jumping off before they did the bus boycott. Black people have their own bus line, but then of course you know what happened with that. But yeah, absolutely, Black people can be bus owners, but it's gonna take a lot of us to help them. You know
who I think is making this worse is these Black liberals. I mean, I don't hear white people. I haven't heard a white person say you can't have a bus, you can't own a bus, Negro, you can't do this. You know who I hear saying that? Black people. That's who I hear saying that all the time. Never hear white people say, you can't have this, boy. You can't have this. You can't start a business. Matter of fact, when I listen to white people talk on TV, all they're talking about is diversity, even if they mean it or not. Their companies, the IBM, Xerox had a black CEO, a black woman running Xerox, and there's multiple companies, women of color that ran Pepsi Cola, and on and on and on. Who is saying that black people can't own shit? It's not black, it's not white people, it is black people. And you have these black liberals, oh, we need this, swing low. Jesus is going to come one day. Jesus ain't coming back for your black ass. You need to get your ass up and get to work. I promise you. The white man got nothing to do with you not owning a bus. The reason I wouldn't own a bus is there's too much compliance. And I don't want to deal with the liberal unions. That's why I wouldn't own a bus. But if I wanted to start a bus company, I could go buy 5 buses, paint them yellow, paint them red, paint them black, tint the windows if I want to roll some strippers around, whatever. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from doing that. Right now, I could use my credit, go out, borrow some money, and start me a stripper bee company. You know what I'm saying? Poles come to you, direct to your house. We just pull up and light it up. Or whatever it is. The point I'm making is you can do whatever you want. There's no one telling you, there's nobody saying you can't be a black bus driver. That's us telling us that. And the only time I feel like I can't do shit is when I turn on black TV. Oh shit, swing low. Can't do it. Joe Biden, please come to the rescue before you die.
We have a question here. KR, how you doing? So what do you think about BRICS since it's supposed to be the money show?
I talk about money, people pass out, they fade. Somebody told me to be entertaining. Niggas need that. But no, I'm not really getting involved in like sectors like the BRICS, which is like, what is it, Brazil, China. I'm not really getting involved in that. What I'm doing is I'm doing individual stocks. Like, here's what I tell people right now. If you want to benefit, and I told you guys this last time, I watch CNBC, Bloomberg, and Yahoo. I have CNBC on my computer and Bloomberg on that big 75-inch TV behind me. And I work and I have them on. So what's been on the news lately is the banks. The regional banks are getting killed. First, I told you guys this. So if you want to watch, if you want to make money, watch the news. First Republic Bank, when SVC took a hit, SVB Bank took a bank in Cali. First Republic went from 130 to like some crazy, like $20. And so then they went down to 14. And then First Republic last week, I remember they're like, oh shit, First Republic is in trouble. That's all I did all day was watch First Republic News. It's free. They didn't say, hey, are black people watching? No. CNBC, Sarah Eisen, she don't come out and say, hey, I think there's black people watching. Let's turn the news off. No. I watched the news. So I went to my E-Trade, and for like $300-400, I bought put options on First Republic Bank, $5 put options. And they were like pennies. I think I paid 30 cents for these put options. So anything under 5, if it goes under 5, I get to keep. Do you know those put options? I sold those yesterday at $4.70 a piece. From 30 cents to $4.70. Just do the math on 400 or 500 options. That's $300. That's it. Just from watching the news all day. So some people need to go to work all day and go to work, get your money. But on your lunch break or on your morning break, check out the stock market, check out the news, because First Republic Bank, do you know where it's at right now? Gone. In receivership. The FDIC took it over and gave it to JP Morgan Chase for next to nothing. Their stock price went from $130 yesterday. No, this morning I woke up, because that's when I sold. They were trading at 32 cents. 32 cents. This is First Republic Bank, a huge bank. Do you know all the people that made money on that trade that I just did? And I've been saying this for weeks, talking about these trades. That's what I would do. The BRICS and some of those things are indexes. And honestly, most people aren't in a position to invest in Brazil or China. Even if I was going to invest in China, I wouldn't even know where to go. Maybe I would buy Alibaba. I did own, I think me and my sister owned NEO, the electric car company. That went from $2 to 60. That now trades at $7. Lord have mercy. I have no idea what to do with that. One day Neil will be probably $30 again, but I don't know. You know something else you can do? There's something called the VIX. VIX. It's the volatility index. It's a fear index for the S&P. Anybody can trade it. You can buy VIX options. I bought a bunch today for 2 cents. And you have to buy 100 at a time. So what's 2 cents times 100? $2. For $2, I bought a contract on the VIX, which is a volatility, a fear index. So when the market gets volatile, the VIX moves up. It'll go from like 12 in the horrible times up to 80. Right now, it's trading at 18.5. Historically, you know, it's well, right. It's where it's at historically, but it's been as low as 15. And you know, if the market falls out and we get crazy news, it could be at 20, 30. For $100, you could buy thousands and thousands of options on this fear index. And if it takes off, if we get really crappy markets, you know, $200 could end up being $10,000. I know because I've done it. And you could do this over and over and over. And these guys, they have nothing to do with race. I swear at E-Trade, they don't have a picture of Billy Jack cracked corn with some big old watermelon lips from the 60s and saying, hey, Negro, you can't buy these. It has nothing to do with race. So that's what I would do. If I were you, that's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't get too involved in the indexes because there's too much we just don't know. You have currency exchanges, currency fluctuations with like Brazil, Argentina, some of these guys. Even if you find a good company, they might get killed by a currency exchange, which we like right now with interest rates. A lot of those countries are getting wiped out. Between inflation and interest rates, are getting murdered.
Here we have a question here.
Texas is trying gambling like Louisiana. Is it okay to invest in this and if they allow brothels in Las Vegas? And if they allow brothels like Las Vegas, hell yes. Well, first of all, Texas. Okay, I'm thinking about the strip clubs. I'm thinking about the steakhouses down in Houston. Let me correct myself. I'm like, they already have brothels. No, of course I would invest in brothels, and I would invest in casinos. Casinos are money makers. Like Bugs Bunny said, if you can't beat them, join them. If you want to go and get you some booty from, you know, Lily Lou and them, if you want to go to the casino and spend your check, I'm not going to fight you. I would invest in that. Casinos are very profitable. I don't know if you can invest in brothels. I mean, do brothels have a ticker symbol? If so, let me know. I'll invest in them. Because one thing people are going to do is they're going to want to feel their sexual urge, especially men, right? And they're going to want to gamble. People will get paid and take their check to the casino. No, they got bills, but still blow their whole check at the casino. It's called addiction. And so, yeah, I think those would be good investments.
What about this question here? And you guys, the link is open if you guys want to ask a question, whether it's money related or on the topic of Eboni K. Williams saying that she would not date a bus driver, but she would date the bus owner, or anything else you want to discuss. Please come on up. Of course, you guys may or may not have heard that Ukraine, as they're saying allegedly, but it sounds like they took ownership of it, tried to bomb the Kremlin, Putin's house.
They should have bombed his ass. I mean, you attack us. I mean, I don't know. Did they actually come out and say? Because this morning they were saying it wasn't them.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. They're kind of also saying that it wouldn't be beyond Russia to have done it themselves and then say, you know, that it was Ukraine that did it. But yeah, so that's another thing we need to be looking at. I mean, because I don't want to stoke any fear, but could be on the verge of World War III.
And you got dumbass Joe Biden at the wheel. Anything is possible. But the economy, the U.S. economy, yeah, it's gonna last. It may just be different. Right now, we have the banking collapse is going on. The interest rates are high. I haven't even watched the news today. I've been working. I don't even know if the Fed raised interest rates today. Evan probably knows. I don't. But the way that the world is going, I mean, the U.S. is going to be strong, especially if we can get through this debt ceiling thing. But right now, it's a good idea to be watching the news and staying invested. And everyone right now, a lot of the pundits are expecting a recession. So this is a good time to go short a lot of these companies. You can buy put options for pennies, $1 long term, and if the stock market goes down, some of these companies go down, you can make money. Is it a risk? Sure. I invested $1,000 in Amazon and JP Morgan. I bought Amazon call options for Amazon to go up, and I bought put options for JP Morgan to go down. I spent $1,000 and I lost every damn penny. But First Republic Bank, I made it all back plus another 500. So I lost 1,000. I reinvested another 1,000. I made 500 on that plus some other stuff. So I actually ended up making quite a bit of money. But the point I'm making is you get hurt, but you have to learn.
Let me answer a couple of questions here. Again, the link is open. And Socially Conscious Podcast. How you doing, by the way? He says, what about the men that work a square job, has a business on the side, or has passive income coming in? See, I'm one of those women. I love all of that. I love all of that. I mean, to me, a man that's, hustling, I'm not saying like he's breaking his back or nothing like that, but he's trying, he's out there, he's making some money. And like you said, he has a job, but he has something on the side, because we know, especially nowadays, nothing is guaranteed. What happens if you lose your job? Is that all you have? As my mom used to always say, you should always have several streams of income, right? So you have a regular job, and you have something on the side, or whatever the case is. Yeah, so that wouldn't bother me at all. I would actually love that. Let me get to this question or comment here. Larry, how you doing? You say, okay, well, I can understand the likelihood, quote unquote, of a 7-figure earning person running across a 50,000, 80,000 partner. The issue is consistent and disrespect of men who are working everyday jobs, living everyday lives, but the women living the same life. I'm sorry, by the women living the same life. You have women riding that bus, looking down on the bus driver, women shopping in Target, Walmart, looking down on the Walmart worker, the hairdresser looking down on the barber. That's the issue. The women whose everyday life includes, and then your comment cut off because that's how it is on my end. So I apologize for that. But if you want to include the rest of it, I would love to continue on with that. Then I'm going to keep reading. And don't ask me how you doing. It says invest in addictions. That's a good one. Yeah, because that's one thing people ain't never gonna stop doing is gambling and hoeing. Yes, it is about to get real, Tammy. Let's see. Facts Not Feelings says, Walter, Ukraine is filled with Nazis. Yes, that is very true. I tell people, do your history, your research. Walter, are you talking to us?
I never said Ukraine didn't have Nazis in it. You never heard me say that. First of all, listen, I don't know shit about Ukraine. I've been to Poland and I've been to Germany. That's the closest I've been to Ukraine, period. I don't know nothing about Ukraine. All I know about Ukraine is Joe Biden's son made 50 grand a month over there and nobody knows what he was doing. So Ukraine, there's a lot of stuff going on with Ukraine. If you really want, and black people, why do you care about Ukraine anyway? We can't even deal with the shit in this country in our own house. Ukraine is Joe Biden and them doing some stuff that we will never understand. And why in the hell does Hunter Biden have all these damn high-powered lawyers if he ain't doing nothing wrong? Let's push Ukraine to the side. Now, if we go to war, we're all dead anyways. So what? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? We can talk about this shit all day. We don't have no control over it. If we do go to war, what we gonna do? We ain't going to fight. I know I ain't taking my black ass, picking up no bayonet and going to fight. So what's gonna happen is gonna happen. In the meantime, why don't we focus on what's happening here? And then I want to address Jessica's question. I mean, I'll deal with this here. Oh, so it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'm not sure what infidelity is. If you can explain, but what I will tell you, there's a mortgage out there right now that actually works really good for people that have long-term vision. It's called the 3-2-1. What happens is if you buy a property, the seller can buy your interest rate down 3 percentage points. So if you're at 6.5, they can buy your rate down to 3.5, and then you get for the first year. So basically, it's 3-2-1. The first year, your rate's down 3. Second year, 2. The third year, your rate is reduced by 1. But the thinking is, in 2 or 3 years, I think most people believe that interest rates will be lower. So it's a good idea to buy a property right now. You got to get a good deal on it because prices are elevated. Get a good deal on it, and then when the interest rates come down, you'll be in a position to refinance, assuming you have enough equity. So if you're going to buy something right now, you got to buy it at the right price, because right now home prices are still, they're coming down, but they haven't really dropped because there's a lot of people that don't have to sell yet. But as people start losing their jobs and they start getting nervous and they feel like, oh shit, I'm gonna miss out, then they'll start selling, and then that's when you see housing prices come down. And so so that mortgage program is one that I'm actually looking at myself for buying some multi-unit, like buying a 4-unit, which you can still buy under a residential loan, which means the seller can then contribute for closing costs and reduce your rate. And you still get a residential mortgage on a 4-unit where you can live in one and then rent out the other 3. Or even if you want to, and I don't know the rules, but I believe even if you want to rent out the other 3 and live in your house summertime and rent out and then Airbnb your spot sometimes, that's a good move right there. There's a lot of things you could do when it comes to mortgage programs. So that's what I'm looking at. If Roberto had a ticker sign, I have a few some tips, Meow, The Blade, or TB. Hey, I'm down. Hey, man, I'll be the first one. I'll be in the IPO. Because the reason I know for men, we do stuff for women. And women, y'all do stuff for women, which I think is the stupidest idea. I was talking to this girl. She got a BBL. Her booty looked ridiculous. They don't even look... Men don't like that. I don't know no men that like a girl with a booty this big. It don't even look... It don't... You're going to be 70 with your booty on the floor. You're going to have to walk like scooting on the floor, like scooting because your booty's so big. You're going to be like, well, she can't walk because her booty's so big. That's ridiculous. Like, men, women, I'm going to save you some money. Stop with the BBLs. Stop with the big lip injections. Stop with the cats. Stop with the Botox. Stop with the wrinkle. Like, one of my friends had her face injected 3 weeks ago. She still can't. She's like, don't touch my face. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She said, oh, don't touch my face. I'm like, why would you do something to yourself if nobody can touch you? You can't even hug a person for months.
What did she put in her face?
Some injection to help with the skin. I don't know. It's put a down payment on a duplex. That's ridiculous. You guys are killing yourself. Men don't care about that stuff. And this is how I know a lot of these women don't have men. That's how I know they're single. Because if you're doing all that shit, Botox and all this stuff, you're doing that stuff for the, like, okay, when I'm out, you see me. But if you have a man and he stays with you, he know that ain't the truth. He know that's not you. So why not just be nice as a human being? You know what I'm saying? You could be a, I don't know, an average woman or below, whatever you guys call yourselves or whatever you do. Just be nice. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of dudes just want a nice girl. Come home, make this square money. I went to work 9 to 5. I brought home a check. I'm saving some of it for our future, and I'm gonna take care of us. It ain't gonna be Ferraris and lifestyles. You get off social media and Instagram, because if I get on social media and Instagram as a man, I'm looking for a girl that's perfect and it has all these things. And that's not real. Okay, some of it's realistic. Why don't you just save that money and use that money to invest? You know what's sexy to me? A woman that saves and invests. You got a Brazilian butt lift. I mean, if you want to invest, get some implants. I think that's a good investment. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All women should have implants that need them. I sign off on it. I approve this message. But like the BBLs and all that stuff, that shit looks silly. We see you coming from your booty out here. We see you coming from the front. That looks ridiculous. And how are you going to look 70 with a BBL?
So I take it that you don't like BBLs?
No, it looks silly. It looks stupid. It's like you can tell who got a BBL. Like, you know what we should do is start a BBL pants company.
Yeah, well, they actually do have clothing company lines with that cater to BBL shaped women. Oh, Thunder, you crazy. Says Agnes and Gertrude didn't need a BBL.
That's what I'm saying. They're just be nice. Like, women, stop doing other shit for women. If you don't have a man in your life, you're not trying to attract a man with the sex that you love, then stop it. Save the money. Some of y'all got a BBL but don't have $400 in the checking account. That don't make no sense to me.
Well, that's why they're getting the BBL, so they can get a man that got $400 in the bank account.
we don't want you. I'm telling you. A man that's working hard and taking care of business has so many options for women. Women, and it's not always like, if I was single, I wouldn't date a girl with a BBL, some flashy chick. She's on Instagram all over the place. I'm like, girl, because when you leave my site, you got 20 other dudes rubbing baby oil on themselves looking at your photos. Like, I don't want you. I mean, I want you tonight, but I want you to leave. I said too much. I digress.
Hey, you know what? I just say to each his own. If you want that, that's fine. I mean, some BBLs look good, you know. I guess, but it's really at this point to each his own. But yeah, if a man say he don't want that, then I would suggest not to get it if you want him to be your man, right? Gerard, how you doing? It says Ebony was right. Leave the bus drivers for single baby mamas and ladies working at the department store. I mean, but listen, those jobs, somebody gonna have to do it, right? I mean, you need bus drivers. It's not a bad job. There's a lot of bus drivers that's making some pretty good money. You know, I mean, and bus drivers, I mean, they got to get people where they need to go. Everybody don't have a car, so I would never knock a bus driver. I mean, it's a job that's needed, right? So I don't know. I just think if you at this point really you're interested in having a man that's, as Ayala said, she named characteristics that's good, who treats you nice, who loves his mama, you know, and who's trying to do something, he's working. Then I think that's really what we should be focusing on. Because there's a lot of men who make a lot of money that are not good people. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Reginald, how you doing? He says, don't trust a big butt and smile. BBD, yes, indeed. What's behind the booty? Brother Don, how you doing? He says, like my dog, when he needs an anal glands express, just scooting away. You crazy. You talking about how Walter was saying when they have big booties, how they gonna do when they're old? Yeah. Manolo, what you talking about? It says all your future economic plans will be canceled. Well, you know what? You might be on to something, you know, because when I woke up this morning and I saw that the Kremlin was bombed by somebody, I was like, okay, this is getting kind of real serious, right? Because if you know anything, United States have been funding Ukraine. So if Russia really wanted to get mad at somebody, and they've already kind of told United States, hey, y'all need to stay up out of this, that we really don't like y'all giving money to the war efforts in Ukraine. And so if Ukraine did that, they tried to kill Putin, because that's where Putin lives, the Kremlin, right? He just happened to not be there today. But if that's what they're trying to do, yeah, I don't think they would take that very lightly. And they might say, United States, y'all help pay for some of those drones, you know? I don't know. Asha, you say, okay, any message for men and their looks?
All day. You should get your ass up and get in the gym. Like, behind me is a weight bench around that corner, some weights. I was gonna say 2 turntables. I mean, I got weights. I got a jacuzzi in my backyard. I got a sauna upstairs. You know, I get up at 4 a.m. You know, while CNBC's on, I hit the weights. I got my little exercise routine. I put on my little house music and my little weights when Asia's not stealing my little tiny weights. And I get it, you know. I'll be like, pump it. And then I go out and I you know, a couple of days a week, 2 or 3 days a week, one of my businesses, I'm running, I'm doing 10 miles. So yeah, men need to stay up, of course. And I think men are coming around. Some of them coming around way too far, Billy Porter. But I think men are coming around. Yeah, men should take care of themselves.
I mean,
of course they should.
I think for me, There's a lot of men. Yeah, there's a lot of men that take care of themselves, but there's a lot of men that don't. Let's just keep it real. A lot of brothers are checking out of here a lot sooner than you need to be, right? 40s and 50s, 60s. That's very young, right? And a lot of that is due to lifestyle, diet, things like that. I mean, that's just, we're talking about the insides, but if we're talking about the outsides, I mean, yeah, I like a man that look like a citizen. If we going out somewhere, like you said, Walter, we should match a little bit. Like I done took the time to put on some heels or whatever. I got some smell good on, or all of that. I'm looking pretty good. And you showing up with a baseball hat and some, maybe some shorts and some Jordans, is like, well, maybe if we were 20, that'd be cute, right? But in our 50s, it's like, now I would rather see a gentleman, put on some shoes that he shined up and a button-up shirt or whatever. You get on some jeans, but look like you was really trying to take me somewhere. But I wouldn't go out with nobody looking like that. No way. I mean, that's just me. But yeah, a lot of times men take women for granted, just think that all they got to do is just look like they took a bath in the last 2 weeks, and a woman would accept that. I mean, not me anyway. And Thunder, you say, will the insurance pay if you're a casualty of war? Well, a lot of insurance companies say only if an act of war takes place, they will not honor the policy. Of course, with 9/11 or 9/11, what did George Bush say? Was one of the first things he said after it happened. He says, an act of war has been, I'm paraphrasing, committed upon the United States of America. Do you know, with those few words, that a lot of people who was caught up in 9/11, their insurance policies were canceled? Because that is a clause in a lot of insurance policies. They'll pay, I think, act of war. What is the other one, Walter? Like Mother Nature or something kind of bizarre like that?
Well, in an act of war, insurance companies don't pay because everyone's getting killed. So they don't address those things. And some things they won't, like, act of war, definitely. There's a few clauses need to read your insurance company where they don't, things that they don't cover. But things that they don't cover tend to have other, well, in an act of war, chances are everyone you love is probably dead anyways. Right? Insurance companies can't be responsible for war. But most of the other stuff, they will cover. So, but you gotta have life insurance anyways. It's so cheap to have. I can't believe in 2023 people still don't have life insurance. It blows me away. Now, if you can get it, cool. If you can't get it based on your health, then that's something different. That's, you waited too long, and or your parents waited too long, and and that sucks. The big one, because you should have life insurance for you and your family. Every living person, like, I feel like everyone should have at least $1 million, $2 million coverage. When you're kids, it's hard to get that much coverage on them. I have life insurance on all my kids, so as they get older, they can take it over and transfer it and be responsible and take care of their families. But I always push people. One, what's wrong with leaving your family $1 million and saying, hey, if I die, take this money and invest it in something that's going to pay you 6% a year. That's $5,000 a month. Especially for my daughters, they don't have to end up on the pole. They got $5,000 coming through the door. They get them a man that's got $5,000 coming. They got 10 grand a month. They can do what they feel like doing. And it costs me $75 a month for one policy and another $300 to $1,000 for the other, because I'm stuffing it with my retirement. It's not even complicated. But yet people, we still talk about it. That's something you can do in 2 hours and be done with it. So anyways, what's this? I'm 41. I had true what?
She said, I'm 41. Had true love more than once, ripped my dude, and it, like RP. And it didn't take all this vanity. I'm unsure when all this BBL, where all this BBL came from. Honestly, I get attention, but I don't like it ever since I was younger. And I totally agree with you. I remember my mom, she used to always tell me, men like to see women in a dress, right? But you don't have to do a lot. Like, I don't know. It's just me. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I wear, red lipstick, whatever. That's probably the most I'll do on any given day. But some people, you see, nowadays, it's like, you look like two different people. And I remember my mom saying, just think of, if you're going out on a date and maybe you're going to lie your face on his shirt, right, on his shoulder, is he going to have a face full of makeup on his clothes? So, try your best to be as natural as possible. Of course, you want to do some enhancements, but yeah, there's some women that can't lay on a man's shoulder because she gonna tear up his shirts. But again, to each his own. But I don't know. I totally agree with you. It seemed like it never used to be this difficult, right? You just comb your hair nice. My mom and them would say they would because when they were younger they couldn't wear a lot of makeup, so they put Vaseline on their eyelashes and on their eyebrows to kind of make it look like they did something, and some on their lips, whatever. They tried to enhance themselves that way. But I've heard a lot of men say, I'm not into all of that. You got 2 and 3 layers on your face for makeup and all that going on. A lot of men just like, I just want to see like as close to natural as possible. But again, to each his own. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see here. And Eunice, she said, yes, my husband and I, we love being styling and profiling together. Yes, indeed. And Jan Michael, if I didn't already say hello to you, how you doing? He says, haha, Mr. Walter, you're wrong. Haha. Walter's always wrong. I'm just kidding. And Asha, he says, what's the best insurance to get, term or no? It just depends on your circumstances. If you cannot afford a whole life policy or a what's the other one? Just slipped my mind. Whole life, term, and Walter, what's the one with the investment? It just slipped my mind.
Well, it's called permanent insurance.
Because it used to be EIUL, but they don't have those anymore, from what I understand.
Well, no, they still have them. The Index Universal Life. All it is cash value. You buy insurance. Let's say it costs $50, but you put $300 in it, and the other $250 after fees goes into the cash value for later.
That's what I was talking about, cash value. Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing is the index policies have a minimum and a max. So based on the insurance company, the cash value will not lose money. Then you have the cap, maybe it's 9, 10, 11, 12%, 13, whatever. But you'll be in that cap, and you can stuff it with money without worrying about losing money. And the insurance companies are the strongest people on the block. So it's good to invest with them.
And Pamela, you say y'all do know some insurance companies are ripping people off, right? They're closing their doors too in California so far. I haven't heard that. Walter, have you heard anything about insurance companies ripping people off? I will say this. Have you?
No, and again, I would block that out. I mean, just deal with a big company. Are there some? Of course, sure, but in my opinion, that is a distraction and a reason not to have any. Just get your big company, AIG, National Life. Get one of those big companies and roll with them. If someone's saying they're ripping people off, that a lot of times that's an excuse for them not to have it. Well, I don't want to get it because they get ripped off. No, just die and let your family pass the bucket. Right, so we can put you in one.
And I would say this too, because I used to sell life insurance. I don't sell it anymore. I don't have the ability to do it. Neither does Walter. But I would hear that. I don't say it's an excuse. I guess it's valid in some places. A life insurance company, they rip you off. They steal from you. They this, they that, right? But then you got to think about it too. If they were doing that, they would not be in business. They are regulated heavily, federally and by the state, right? So if they were in the business of ripping people off, they wouldn't be doing it too long, right? They would definitely get dealt with. So, and people go to jail for fraud. So we kind of got to look at it that way. I'm not saying it doesn't ever happen. Now, sometimes it'll happen on a smaller level, like with an agent that's not being honest or something like that. But the insurance company itself, yeah, there's probably some that's doing it, but they will not be doing it too long. You can believe that. So let's see. And Rain, how you doing? He says, I'm a brick house. All my stuff is real, and I still got it. I know that's right. My stuff is real too. I don't know what I got though, but and I will say this. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of an enhancement. Maybe you want to I don't know, you want to do something. I get it. But some of the stuff we have people in their like 20s, right? Very young, haven't really even developed into who they're probably going to be and what they're going to look like. Getting these augmentations is like, well, you don't want to wait and see what you might look like. I don't know. Facts Not Feeling says the less makeup, the better. Yeah, I would agree. For me personally, I agree with that. And Thundy says, Aretha Franklin, natural woman. Yes, indeed. And Facts Not Feelings, you say an annuity. An annuity is not necessarily a life insurance policy. It's just something that I'll call it a policy, but it's something that you can, I guess, cash out when it matures, if you will. So it's usually for people who retire or to get to retirement age and they can draw from it. Black America says men have always died earlier than men. I wonder why. I'm just kidding. Rain says, my children don't know what I have and who the beneficiary is. I watch the crime shows and I got paranoid. That's another thing too. You should let your beneficiaries know who they are. And of course, your beneficiaries should be people that you trust, because a lot of times when people die, people don't know who the beneficiary is or even where the policy is, right? So they're searching high and low and everywhere trying to find this policy. And then meanwhile, your mama, your daddy, or whoever's sitting on a cold slab because they can't find the policy, or who even holds the policy. So you should let your beneficiaries know, yes, you are my beneficiary. God forbid something happens to me. This is where you can find it. It just kind of cuts down on everything. But I also say, too, that the beneficiary is usually the first suspect if somebody mysteriously dies. One of the first things they'll check is the spouse. And then they'll say, well, was there insurance policy? Yeah, there's an insurance policy. They'll look to see when it was taken out, who the beneficiaries are, and then they'll look at that, because what they do is, especially if they don't know who did it, they'll ask who had something to gain from this person not being here anymore. Does it make any sense? So I used to have to explain those things to people like, Walter, is that me?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have to explain that to people, because you do have all these kind of like urban legends, which I'm not saying people don't do that to people for the policy, but I just want to know, if you're taking out a policy on somebody and you're thinking about doing something to them, they probably going to come knocking on your door relatively quick. So I'm just putting that out there.
Well, insurance companies have the best lawyers and investigators, and are we really talking about this shit? I mean, I get it. This conversation comes up.
Well, I mean, because it's a real
I would get
fear.
people say that.
Yeah, because me and you both done insurance, sold insurance, and we've heard these things, and we've had to tell people those things, they happen, but not on the scale that you think it does happen. I'll be honest with you, when I would sell people life insurance policies, it would take them forever to think of a beneficiary, because they're like, oh no. I mean, a lot of times it wasn't even their mama, because they're like, my mama gonna take it and spend it, she ain't gonna take care of the kids. Whatever. So it's, beneficiary is a really it takes a lot of consideration, if you will. Hey, Stacy. And Thunder says, are there any Black-owned life insurance companies? I think there's a few. There was a big one. I don't think it's there anymore. What's it called, Walter, in Los Angeles? A Great Western. I think that was a Black-owned life insurance company, but it went defunct a while back. But there's some. But as far as on a major scale, I'm not sure. But there used to be. Let's see here. Facts Not Feelings says, if you do insurance right, it will set you up for good retirement and protection for your family. Absolutely. But if you cannot afford, sorry to keep rubbing my eye, for like I got some in it. If you can't afford a life insurance policy like a whole life or a cash value or something like that, get a term policy. And when you can do better, get something else. But the main factor is to have some insurance, because I tell you what, it's difficult to die without insurance. Like, the dead won't care, they're not here, right? But then you have your loved ones trying to figure out how to get you in the ground. I would hate to do that to my daughter. She's my next of kin, right? But I would hate to do that to her. You know what I mean? To leave out of here and then have her figuring out who's gonna take care of my final expenses and stuff like that. And I always say, if you get their life insurance relatively young, then that problem's solved. But if you wait until you're 50, 60, 70, at a certain age, you won't even be able to get it. But if you wait until you're older, you probably had some ailments. You probably had some, I don't know, maybe a criminal or something. I don't know. Those things factor in to your life insurance. And I tell people that all the time. You like to drive recklessly. You like to drink and drive. You like to, engage in criminal activity. They will look at your criminal background as well. And if they see that you have too much going on, they will not insure you, because they're like, you're a risk. You like to do risky things. You like to drink and drive. You might drink and drive and kill yourself, and then we'll have to pay. And then people don't also realize is that insurance companies make money if you live, not die. You know what I mean? So
and they be on your Facebook pages too. So if you're out there twerking in the club every Saturday, they'd be like, oh, she gonna get the HIV. We're not covering her. I mean, they use, listen, just straighten up and fly right. Get you some insurance. It's an easy fix. Just get it. It's not so like, I don't talk about my life insurance. I just get it. I have my different policies and I put money in them every month and that's it. I have my beneficiaries. If something happens to me, my kids get the money. You know, certain kids get it and they, the ones that are beneficiaries know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And you keep it playing. And your beneficiaries, what you do is you teach them how to manage money. You teach them skills. You teach them what to do with business and see opportunities. So if they do get the money, they know what to do with the shit. It's not even that complicated. Something happens to me, you got $2 million. What do you do with it? Do you invest it? Or what do you do?
And the question here is,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, you froze.
Yes, a beneficiary can be a trust. Beneficiary can be a trust. Sure, it could be a bank. You can do that. And the bank, you can leave instructions for them to give it to certain people at certain intervals. Some life insurance companies, you can leave a plan where it pays them out over a number of years. You can do that too. There's several ways to do it. But you got to have it. If you're an adult, you have heirs that are people that are dependent on you. If you don't have life insurance, you are a part of the problem. And I've told my boys this. One of my boys was like, oh, I don't know. My wife, I don't know. I said, Negro, I don't care if and at the time I was married, I don't care if my wife dates my brother. I could care less. I'm dead and gone. It ain't my business. But I want the kids to be taken care of. That's it. All that other stuff is an excuse not to have it. And you are part of the problem because you are one of the reasons. And I'll leave this person nameless just in the interest of this show. We get phone calls once in a while, people that have passed. And let me tell you something. If you don't have your shit together, you don't have life insurance. When you die, the minute you die, you won't be in the ground 48 hours before all hell breaks loose. Madness, people scrambling. It's a hot mess. And it takes you 1 hour to sit down with a life insurance agent and get some life insurance. As a matter of fact, if you go on YouTube right now, there's this thing called Wealth Inc. or something like that. You see them? They're talking about how the rich invest and how the rich do their banking. They're talking about life insurance. And it's all over YouTube. So just get it done and get it out of the way so we can talk about something much sexier. Like shorting PacWest Bank. I have a whole list of banks. USB, PNC, PacWest, Zion Bank, Key Bank. All these regional banks are under pressure. I'm shorting every single one of them. Maybe most of them will make it. But if I'm going to short all 6 of these banks, all I need is one of them to crash, like go from 100 to 30 cents like First Republic. The downside is I only invested a little bit of money. So, I made $3,000 or $4,000. But now I'm going in hot and heavy. The money I would have spent, taking my girl out or a girl out this week, I'd be like, you know what? I'm a cook because I'm going to use that $200 and I'm going to invest in shorting these banks. And if one of these banks collapses, then I'm going to be able to go buy a boat so we can go fish for lobster ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that I would be doing right. There's so many opportunities right now. And you guys, you better pull them, get them before it dries up because now they're starting to tighten credit. A lot of you guys that waited too long, interest rates will drop. It won't matter because you won't be able to get it because we're tightening credit. Banks are starting to falter. A lot's going on right now. And honestly, I don't know how people just chill. I'm scared to death, and I'm in this shit all day watching the markets.
I'm going to answer this. I'm going to leave this up here. I answer it really quick. It says, and how you doing, JT? He says, question for the women in the chat. What type of job did your father have while you growing up? How did he provide for you and treat you? And did his job make a difference in how you turned out today? I think that is an excellent question. My father is a mechanic. He's retired now, but he owned his own shop. You say he provided for our whole family. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, wife. She did not work. My mom was a licensed nurse, so she could have worked, but she stayed at home. He made great money from what I understood, took care of us, all of that. Father treated us really good. And he said, did his job make a difference in how you turned out today? I would say absolutely, because I got an example of how a hardworking man is supposed to act. My dad would get up the crack of dawn and wouldn't come back until, at night. And I would also say, I didn't learn a lot about cars, but I did learn how to drive when I was like 11 or 12, because when my dad's assistants were not at the shop for whatever reason, and he needed to take somebody's car to them, he would get one of us. He would, be in the car in front of us, and we would follow him. I remember one time he had me driving this big, giant Cadillac, and it felt like it was a boat just swerving back and forth. You guys know the streets in LA, they're very narrow. And I was more afraid of what my dad would do to me if I wrecked the car than if I wrecked the car. So I just think, we never got in an accident or anything like that. But I say all that to say, my father taught us all valuable skills. I mean, my brother, he talks about it all the time, in that his work ethic comes from my father. My brother knows how to fix cars. Don't let, his bouginess fool you. He knows how to get up on the hoods and all those things. And that is attributed to my father. So I saw my father as what you call a blue collar worker, get out there and make it do what it do. My dad has not worked for too many other people in his life. Tell you guys a quick story. When he was a young man, he worked for Ferrari, and they accused him. He was a mechanic for Ferrari, and they accused him of scratching up a car, right? So then they said, we're going to withhold your check, and they fired him. So he went to the labor board and all that, and they had to pay him every day the amount of the check that they withheld for the amount of days that they withheld this check. And so from that point, he says, I'll never work for anybody else again. And he ended up, being his own mechanic. He says, because I would never allow, plus being in the Nation of Islam, so I never allow a white man to do that to me ever again. And that's kind of how we all became sort of entrepreneurial, minded, if you will. So I know that was a really long answer, but that's the best way that I can explain that. And now, JT, I want to, you say question for the women. Oh, no, I answered that one. It was another question. Oh, no, I know what I want to say. So kind of going back to life insurance. So Walter, you can jump in here. Going back to life insurance. Now, when we think about life insurance, right, we typically think of the relationship between maybe a husband and a wife or vice versa, or a parent and child, right, to those degrees, or a parent insuring the child. But if you know that your parents are not insured and you are able, I don't care, it could be like a $10,000, $15,000 policy, just something, then it should be your duty to take out a life insurance policy on your parents. Because you know why? Because when your parents pass and they don't have a spouse, then that falls on you as the child. So make sure that your parents are insured. And parents, if you can't afford a policy, you need to have a conversation with your children. Hey, son. Hey, daughter. Hey, children. I want to let you guys know I'm uninsured. I can't afford it. I'm just letting you guys know if you're interested in taking out a policy, I'll sign. I'll take the physicals and all those things. But here's your opportunity to insure me. Also, insure your children because things happen, right? Also, if you are a spouse, because I've seen this a lot, and I talk about this, I cannot talk about this enough. There's even times where women are married to men, right? And they feel like, oh, his mama got a life insurance policy. I don't need to have him insured. He good, right? He ended up passing away. Then the mama's like, oh, I'm sorry. That's my life insurance policy. And then what happens? The wife is, well, I should have some of that money because that was my husband. And the mom is like, well, I've had Ray insured since he was 3. I've had him insured all this time. You should have had your own insurance policy. And it's true. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen that fight. And it's like, wife, you're not going to win that. The mom is not entitled to give you anything because you were married to him. And because you were married to him, you should have had him insured. And I'm going to go a step further. If you with somebody you're not married to, and he your baby daddy, your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or your baby mama, get them insured. Because if they pass away and you have a child with them, well, that income also passes away with them, and you're stuck raising a child for the duration to the 18 or to their college without the income of that spouse or the baby mama or the boyfriend. So get each other insured, because I've seen it a lot where people are fighting over the insurance. And if you're not listed as the beneficiary, then you have no rights. And what you essentially do is end up causing a fight, an unnecessary fight, or a rift in the family because you were too dumb, and I'm going to say it, too dumb to get your loved one insured. And I just don't get that, right? We pass the buck to somebody else. Or his mama got him insured. I don't know. He got insurance on the job. We talk about this all the time. If you're insured on the job, you lose that job 9 times out of 10, and probably higher than that. That insurance does not go with you unless you bought into some other special policy or something, because the job gets a group rate on the insurance, which is why it's probably pennies on the dollar that comes out of your check for that life insurance, but it does not go with you most of the time. So you've been at a job 30 years, and all of a sudden, especially nowadays, a lot of people are getting this notice. I'm sorry. I know that you've been with us 30 years, but here's your last check. We've got to lay you off. They're like, okay, well, what about my life insurance? Oh, well, that don't come with you. So now you're probably 50, 60. What do we say when you're older? You have a lot of other things going on. Now you're fresh out the gate having to get a brand new life insurance policy instead of having one when you were a younger person. And if you have children, you can insure a baby at 10 days old, okay? You can insure a baby at 10 days old. That insurance is cheap, and it'll stay that price for the rest of their life. Typically, depends on what kind of policy you get, it should stay that way for the rest of their life. So if you have a new baby and it's 10 days old, call your local insurance person, say, I'd like to get my baby insured. And you just be done with that. And some insurance policies, you could pay up all the way after, 15 years or something like that. So when a child turns 15, that insurance policy is paid up the rest of his life. So there's things that you should do, but people leaving out of here uninsured is unfashionable and it's not sexy anymore. It's just not. And I'm going to tell you, men and women, if you are with somebody and you call this person your life partner, your husband, your wife, whoever, and you say, hey, babe, we need to go get some life insurance policies, and they're like, no, then you need to pack your bags. And you need to say, well, you ain't the one for me, because what you're not going to do is saddle me with all this responsibility because you will not let me take out a policy on you. And I get the whole trusting, but facts not feelings. You said if you can't trust them, then you shouldn't be with them. And it's just that simple. But don't be with somebody who is too dumb to take out, not to take out a policy and allow you each to have some comfort. God forbid they die, right? Because people die, and they die without notice a lot, right? So, and also, in life, so when you're born and you're 10 days old, and usually when you're a child, you're fairly healthy. But even children, and I hate to be, gloom and doom, but even children get cancer, diabetes, or other, things that they will not survive from. So now, somebody's going to pass away. They can't get insured a lot of times. Insurance companies say, well, you got cancer. You already have a pre-existing, right? We can't insure you. And in some strange cases, when they do insure you, the premium is just stupid high because they're like, well, you're going to die soon, right? So they're trying to recoup as much of the money as possible, the face value of that policy before you die. So the point that I'm making is, don't wait till somebody ends up suffering with something to say, oh, we ain't got no insurance. Just get it as soon as you can. As soon as the baby's 10 days old, get it insured. If you bought your baby's Jordans before you bought them a life insurance policy, stick yourself. That's all I'm going to say. So let me see. I see some questions up in here. And Asha says, my father spoiled us and now we're entitled and lazy. Yeah, well, you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to make your children entitled and lazy. I mean, I get it. Rainey says, my children get everything equally, and I have some rude ass children. Damn. Says that I cuss out when needed. Says there is instructions for them to pay only $20,000. They would be good. just don't cremate me. So you left instructions, and that's good. Some people, even in death, do not want to be cremated, or whatever. They have specific things that they want or do not want. Eunice says, my father worked for a large company called Johnson Controls. He was a machinist for about 35 years. My mother and father also owned a daycare as well as a cleaning business. So they had multiple streams of income. Very good. And you also say my mother stayed at home while we were young, and they started the other business later on when we were teenagers. My father was an excellent provider. Yes, as my dad, he was like, nah, I got it. Ain't no woman taking care of me. Super Patriot says life insurance is literally future wealth. Everybody dies. Yeah, it's a good way to leave a legacy as well. But if you can't afford a policy that you can build cash value, at least get a term policy. Because funerals, I don't know what they are now, but they're pretty expensive. But pay the funeral off and then have a little bit, because I love what Walter says all the time, and Walter can expound on this. There's a lot of times when people die, when you are at a job, most jobs only give you 5 days bereavement, 3 paid and 2 extra, right? So how many times have we worked at a job, and I worked at Frito-Lay, a factory, have we worked at a job and we've seen people come in and say, oh, my husband died, and then they come right back to work, unless they have vacation or something, right? They come back to work. It's like, damn, what you doing back here? Did you say your husband died? I can't afford to be off. They only gave me 5 days bereavement. But a life insurance policy will have you, as Walter would say, rocking back and forth in the nut house if you need to, but you got your bills paid. Walter?
Yeah, listen, you guys. Let's elevate. Going back to what the sister said when she was talking about the bus drivers, and I'm not talking about the bus drivers, but we need to elevate. If you date, like, first of all, when I hear someone says, well, I don't want to leave insurance for my kids, I'm just going to leave them a little bit, then you are part of the problem. Take your black ass. If you need to do a side hustle, work a side hustle, get life insurance. Do not tell me you can't leave your kids $1 million worth of life insurance. A term policy, for a 50-year-old man that's in fairly decent shape is $100 a month. For starters, and then what you do as you get older, you start building wealth, you start saving money as you get older, and then you get into something more permanent. If you don't have $1 million, $500,000 on life insurance, you are leaving your family butt naked in the cold, Brokeback Mountain style. Get you some insurance and stop talking about this shit. I'm gonna get my kids $20,000, $40,000. Get them enough money to bury your black ass and take care of them so they don't have to deal with your shit. If I died today, my kids, I hope they would be. You know what I'm saying? But I'm dead, cremated, because that's in my wishes. I don't want to be in no box. Take the $2 million and invest and enjoy yourself. Like at my funeral, ain't gonna be, oh, GoFundMe. Hey, can you help close this and that? And I don't know where the money at. No, it's gonna be like, our dad left us a couple $1 million. He got property and businesses and shit, but really, honestly, we ain't got to the businesses because we're trying to figure out what to do with this $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's supposed to be, and it's cheap to do. It's so cheap. If every person in America that complained about the wealth gap will go out and get hundreds of thousands, or if not $1 million of insurance, and say, hey, something happens to me, my family's straight. It's just money out of my pocket. And don't tell me you can't afford life insurance. That is a lie. If you're working a job and bringing in money, you can do it. I know people that will sell their house, live in an RV or an Airstream on a piece of land to take care of their other responsibilities. How important is your family? I know I have 6 kids, and I know if I die, and I'm just going to be transparent, my son's sitting here, he's heard me say this shit, so I'm not saying anything I wouldn't say in front of most people in my family. If something happened to me, I really am concerned about what would happen to the majority of my family. Like, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm getting texts and multiple phone calls from some of my kids. What about this? What about that? What about that? So if I'm not here to pick up the phone and say, hey, do this, do that, here's what you do, I can leave a couple $1 million and some property and some income streams and all these damn candles you see me burning over here and a clothing line, and I can leave them a car business and a way to make money, you can do that too. Then we get to the sexy shit, the stock options, or let's take our family out on a nice trip, versus battling the same stuff that keeps, and this is the Black people show, right? That keeps Black people broke. This is embarrassing to keep talking about this shit. Like, we talk about life insurance, I get it, but it's our conversation. You pay, you die, they pay. Period. That's
What
it.
about this person here?
Can a parent buy universal life insurance on a 10-year-old child? Yes, I have it on my kids. All my kids have universal life insurance. You can get it on a baby. Absolutely, and you should. The minute your kid come out the womb, spank, whatever, life insurance, it should be next. Because here's the sad thing for parents. And I've known parents and I've met people that have lost a child. And losing a child is worse than losing a spouse. Because if you are a married woman and your son dies versus your husband dies, you can replace that dude. He's probably cheating on you anyway. But you can't replace a child. You know what I'm saying? I've been to people's homes and they've lost a child 40 years ago, and the child, their baby picture, still sitting on the mantle. You know what you rarely see? Is somebody's husband died, and 40 years later, his Black ass is sitting on the fireplace. No, because she got a new dude. You can't replace a kid. You can replace a man. So why not have insurance on the kid? Because if you lose a kid, you're not going to be able to function unless you had something to do with it. And then you're going to be looking over your shoulder. So you should have, I have $250,000 life insurance on each one of my kids. And that's all the insurance company will let me do at the time. Now that they are older, my recommendation to them is to get $1 million. You know, and then you should insure everyone around you. If you still have aunts, uncles, parents, they should all have life insurance too. I mean,
oh, I have a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to actually my daughter about this morning. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Okay, so let's say her grandmother, so her father's mother, has him insured. Okay, say God forbid she passes away. Is there any way that she could pass that life insurance on to like one of the children to take over the policy?
Okay, wait a minute. So the owner dies, but somebody else is insured. But the person, the insured, and the owner are two different people. The owner dies.
Mm-hmm.
That policy, from what I understand, can be transferred if there's cash value in it.
Okay,
I believe so.
I mean, it's interesting because a lot of times parents, they do have their children insured up until, they leave out of here. And so it's like, what happens to that policy on the child that's still here? So facts, not feelings, you're saying, yes, you can transfer it. Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was like, that's pretty interesting. So that should be a conversation that people can have with, the grandparents or your parents. Hey, Ma, you're going to be here 1,000 more years, but I'm just saying when that 1,000 more years is up and you still have the policy, would you be interested in transferring or like, how does that conversation even work? I guess we need to look into that, right?
Yeah, they're called sabbaticals, I think, or sciaticals or something like that. I think I'm getting the term wrong. You can sell your life insurance policy. Mm-hmm. You have a $300,000 whole life policy. Like I have $1 million policy, then I have a $300,000 policy that's cash value that allows me to put a couple $1,000s a month away. I can sell that life insurance policy to a company, and they will cut me a check because it's permanent cash value. They know that one day I'm going to die. So they will buy that policy from me. Now when I die, they'll get the check, but the cash value that's inside, they can borrow against it, loan it out. They can do all kinds of stuff with it. My policy with AIG allows me to borrow money at 3% and reinvest it. So my AIG policy, let's say it has $20,000 in it. I can take out 10 of that, go buy 2 cars at $5,000 each from the auto auction and flip them for 8. Take that 10, turn it into 16, put the 10 back, take 6, put it in my pocket. Ta-da! And the life insurance policy does not move. It stays the same. It's still in the stock market because you're taking a loan against your cash. Life insurance works like a house. You have life insurance, you borrow money against it, period. You understand what I'm saying? And yes, some life insurance policies will cancel out at 90 term policies, but at least you'll have a time where, give me 1 second, you have time where you can save enough money to get into maybe a cash value, a whole life policy. Does that make sense? Get term, and then you should have term. And then as you get older and more secure, assuming you can still get it, convert it to a permanent policy. Because those things will last for the rest of your life. So I heard that you can literally get cash value even before. I mean, they have to be healthy enough to get it.
Yeah, and in some cases too, so like the ones with the cash value, yeah, you could you could borrow off of the cash value because it's separate from the actual policy per se, the death benefit. You can borrow from that if you have enough cash value in the policy to do that. But of course, you do borrow. It means you got to pay it back, right? Because if you die before it's paid back, then they'll subtract that from the actual death benefit, if that makes any sense. But the real thing is just to have it, you know. And like I said, it's unfortunate. We hear of this every day. Sock Black, how you doing? Yeah, we hear of this every day. We hear of it every day. Somebody passing away without life insurance, and I don't want to say it makes me angry, but it does bother me because it's like, as I always say, I used to be a life insurance agent, and I'm like, when I see people doing car washes, GoFundMe's, you know, now that you got the GoFundMe, you don't see as many car washes anymore. That was like old school, right? Bake sales, fish fries, and things like that. When I see people doing that, I'm like, now how many people came to you and asked you to buy a policy? And for whatever reason, you didn't think you needed one. You know, that's a bill. I ain't gonna make nobody rich. And then you burden your loved ones with trying to put you in the ground. I would impress upon anybody who is hesitant about getting a life insurance, or hell, not even if you yourself, because you'll be dead, but think how you would feel if somebody did that to you. They left out of here and they didn't leave themselves protected. Go to a mortuary one day and say, you gotta leave? You gotta leave?
No. I'm just, my ears are bleeding. I'm like, if you went to person.
Wait, hold on a second. Your ears are bleeding, but this is what people need to hear.
No, I know. I'm saying you're right.
Yeah,
but sad that people feel that way.
Yeah,
like,
but it's
stick you in a box and light your ass on fire. You are killing the race. You are part of the problem.
But you know what though? It ain't that easy though, because most people wait. Let me finish. Okay. Now I know you got all your ducks in a row. You got all life.
No, all my ducks ain't even in the house. Okay.
But what I'm saying is this: there's somebody who will be watching this that probably did not know this information. Like, so there's people who need to know this. A lot of times people have misnomers about life insurance because they are uneducated or miseducated by somebody who done told them, oh, you don't need it, it's a bill, blah, 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 blah. We've all known somebody who has died without it, and it was like hell getting to bury that body. We know when a couple years back in Los Angeles County, they said they were burning, I want to say, don't quote me, but I think like 80% of the bodies that were left in the morgue because people could not afford to get their body out the morgue. So they would burn them up. So you're not on mute. I'll put him on mute.
I'm sorry. No.
I muted you. Yeah, so in Los Angeles County, I think they were burning up like 80% of the bodies because people could not afford to get their loved ones out of the morgue. They give you, so I don't know, some places it's 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, but 30 days is even not a long time when you're trying to raise, because see, what it is, and for people who don't understand, the morgue ain't gonna let you back the family vehicle up to the corner and put your mama in the back of the minivan and take her home. You got to have a place for it to go. So once you have somewhere for it to go, that's usually like a mortuary. The mortuary is like, yeah, we'll take mine. You know, she was a beautiful lady. We love her. However, do you have a life insurance policy or some way of guaranteeing a payment if we take your mama from the corner to the mortuary? And if you say no, they're like, well, we can't take her till we get some guarantee or something that we can bear. So the point that I'm making is, Walter, while I know it's frustrating to talk about those things, because sometimes, you know, and I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying in general, a lot of times we think that we have it all together and everybody else has it all together. But I guarantee you, even the people that have life insurance will be affected by somebody who don't. So we should strive to educate. And I know for you, Walter, you rather talk about the stocks and the houses. Yeah, we want to talk about all that too, but somehow that life insurance came up. It's important that we talk about those things because there's some people who just don't know. It would be life, you know how much easier life would be for somebody if they all had to pay was $10, $15, $20 a month for, I don't know, a $50,000 life insurance policy. If their mama or daddy were to leave here, they ain't got to worry about burdening other people. So it's things that people need to know. I think he has a delay. Are you listening to me on the other another device?
No, I can hear you now. It's you talking to me or to Jay?
I was talking to you, but I brought Jay up. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing good. I'm hoping this mic is working.
It's working. What's on your mind, brother?
Yo, so I just want to stay on the top. I mean, get it back on the topic. I'm sorry about that. So when it comes to people dating bus drivers, so I'm in Texas, and I kind of understand. Hopefully, you don't hear people behind me because I have, huh?
We hear you fine.
Oh, so yeah, I got some Hispanic neighbors, so they play their music way out loud. If you're in Texas, you already know the deal with them. They play music from 6 p.m. to freaking 6 a.m. pretty much. So like when it comes to bus drivers, like in Texas over here, pretty much they literally make from 20,000 to 50,000. So I understand where she's coming from because she said she's already built an empire, or whatever she said she built. So I kind of understand what she's saying, but when it comes to people, when you look at the average salary of people, most people make under $100,000 a year, right?
Yes.
So I mean, like, I want to be realistic, but at the same time, I have to, I have to give the benefit of the doubt. If this person is working towards something, investment and everything else, like I was looking into the Houston Black Commerce Chamber. If they're working towards something, whether they're building with the ecosystem around them and everything, I can understand that. But if they're like stuck in a place, I wouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt, and I wouldn't, pretty much, I wouldn't accept them. I can understand why she wouldn't accept them as a equal partner, right?
Repeat that last part.
I mean, like she said, she wouldn't accept a bus driver as an equal partner because of how much they make.
Right? That's kind of, I guess that's where she was going with that. Yeah.
So I can understand her situation because she said she built the empire. She doesn't want to start from the beginning, and then this person's still trying to build up. But I tell you, I say we have to give some people a chance. And I also want to like cut in on the what you guys were just talking about, where you need to have pre-planned. You have to have your plans together when it comes to people who die. I mean, your what's the not a bridge word? What's the word I'm looking for? You have your house in order in case you do pass away, right? So a lot of people actually tell us that we don't need to have a insurance plan, like when it comes to our death, because if you're investing wisely, if you have some other assets, if in case I say if you don't leave them money and you leave them houses, or you don't leave them if you leave some type of asset or some type of money, houses or something like that, would you agree that we don't need to have the death policy, life insurance policy? That's what I'm trying to get at.
I'm trying to understand your question because your sound is a little bit. It's kind of hard to hear you a little bit. It's not because it's not background. Go say it again.
So I said, if you have a assets on hand, whether it's money or it's houses or it's any type asset, would you agree to me that you don't need I would say a death policy, a life insurance policy? You don't agree?
No, absolutely not. So what he's asking is if you have, your stuff in order, you pretty much have things like a house, other things, assets and stuff. Are you do you need a life insurance policy? Absolutely. Absolutely, because that's what rich people do. Wealthy people, they have life insurance policies.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of things, but life insurance policy is to protect against death. And in that case, you want to add on to the legacy that you're going to leave. Because a lot of times if somebody dies or whatever, they might have to liquidate a business, a house, or whatever. Maybe there's some taxes, and so it's a lot of things, and you got to transfer the businesses and stuff over the houses. So all that stuff costs money. So you out and the life insurance policy also it insures your life, but it also protects that stuff too. Because like I said, if somebody dies without life insurance, a lot of times you got to liquidate that stuff. And then what?
Now, right, so you have to have some monetary gain. I'm sorry about that. I have my audio on low, so I found that out. Hopefully you can be clear now. So what I'm pretty much saying is, say if you have $50,000 saved up, but you also have you're gonna leave behind them a house that's paid off, a business that they can run, and I don't know, let's say some other assets, not some sinking assets like cars, because cars are sinking assets. They pretty much devalue over time. Say you have some assets laid over that you can leave these people. I've heard from a lot of financial, from a lot of financial channels that sometimes those are worth more than a life insurance policy.
But let me say this, brother, they're wrong and they're dead wrong, because a lot of times it costs money to transfer that stuff over. You have a state tax, you have death tax, you have a lot of taxes when a person dies. And so why would anybody suggest that you don't get life insurance too? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's not sound advice. You should always have life insurance, no matter how much money and assets you have. And that's how those people, they're able to keep building and leaving legacies, because they are wise to have life insurance too. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So can I ask you a question? Because we get on this topic of reparations all the time, right? Dimitri and I'm trying to get the brother's name.
Donovan.
I don't want to say
Walter, but yeah, that's Donovan.
Jerome?
No, this is Walter, but Donovan is usually on here with me.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, because I try to catch you as much as I can. But can we get to so we talk about reparations all the time, right? So would it be in the meantime for our I'll say monetary and finance gangs? Would it be appropriate for us to join I'm in Houston right now. We have the Black Commerce of Houston right now. I mean, we have the Black Commerce of Houston and other type of things that's in our racial group that help us, not only learn new avenues when it comes to gaining money, but other resources that help us gain money. Until I understand that, because I'm for reparations, absolutely, without doubt. I think that we're one of the groups that pretty much got abandoned, not because we chose to get abandoned, because they put the front Negroes in front of us. Al Sharpton being one of them, to say that we don't need it. We need to just support the Democratic Party, and that'll be our reparations. That's pretty much what their motto is. But in the meantime, we should be supporting groups, or we should be joining groups, and we should know the language, how the contracts and all that. That way we can gain financial gains in the meantime until we get to that goal. And I will also say this: the more, and we live in a capitalistic society. So the more money you have, the more you can support a Democratic or a Republican or third party candidate. I vote third party, but the more power I feel that a group has.
So if I understand you right, and you got a little bit of static going on, but if I understand you right, are you saying that we should be joining the chambers of commerce and things like that, so we can learn how different? Yeah, I mean, I don't see that it hurts, but usually to join a business chamber of commerce, you got to have a business or something like that. So yeah, start with maybe trying to have a business first, or I don't know if you necessarily need to have a business, but it wouldn't hurt to learn about those things. But The purpose of this show really is just to kind of teach people how to save money. And having a life insurance policy is a good way to save money, because if you die and you don't have a life insurance policy, you might have to liquidate your 401k. You might have to take out a loan. You might have to take a second on your house. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things you will have to do without having a life insurance policy. So yeah, it wouldn't hurt to learn more about those things.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know,
If you don't have life insurance, you are killing you and your legacy and your family. I get it all. It's one of those things. Like, here's the thing: being a responsible adult with kids, you need life insurance, health insurance, disability insurance, living trust. You need living benefits. It just takes a shit ton of things to be a responsible person that's well put together. It's just the way that TI is. There's a lot of things like the Republican and the Democrat, they're all shit. You got two wings separately, but they connected to the same plane. They're out cashing their own checks and partying. Right now, as we speak, an hour from me in Beverly Hills, a Republican and Democrats, there is Michael Milken, big finance guy, went to jail, Essence Savings and Loans, debacle. Right now, they're all in Beverly Hills. Him, Beverly Hills, Democrats, Republicans. Do you know who the keynote speaker is tonight? Snoop Dogg.
wow.
Seriously. Oh, I heard that shit on Bloomberg. So you have a gangster rapper, bitches and hoes ain't shit or whatever, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. That dude is talking to Wall Street with Republicans and Democrats sitting in the room. It is all a game to them. They are moving money. The rest of us are just caught up in their wash. We need to be saving money. We need to have life insurance. We need to be stacking our own money. We cannot depend on these people. So as you take care of, like me, I don't think as much about politics because I'm my own Republican. Take care of my own shit. I'm not waiting for Trump to come back. Do I hope he comes back? Yeah, sure. But I ain't going to wait for him, because when he get here, he ain't going to call me, hey, Walter, I got something for you. No, he taking care of Ivanka and them. So my job is to make sure my family's taken care of. And if you don't have life insurance, you're putting your family at risk. It's just, and I sold life insurance for decades. And I see people who don't have life insurance and they die, and it's a hot mess. I got a call yesterday, and I'm going to leave him nameless. And I don't want to, but I'm going to. And we talked about having life insurance all the time. And he don't have it. He don't have it. And he didn't do shit we talked about on the show. Not a goddamn thing. And that is the state of Black people. And somebody says, yo, get life insurance. And we got this and Billy Bob Jordan and these people. And what about the hell with all those people? Get some and you be the responsible one. You cannot be a Black man in this country with kids and not have life insurance in a way to protect your kids and call yourself a real man. Right. I take that dude and put him next to Kris Jenner and Dylan Mulvaney. They are bitch niggas. And that is the way it is. So if you don't have life insurance and you have kids, death to you. That's the way it should be. We should take you in a box and flush the toilet like they do in every other race. And those are just my true feelings. I can digress and come back to the center. But that's how I feel when somebody's like, I don't have life insurance because I don't want my wife. I hate having life insurance. I don't like spending that money. I like to take that money and pay it on a blazing chick and pour baby oil on her when she walk in the house. But instead, I protect my family. You know what I'm saying? The shit I'd rather be doing with the money, but I love my kids more than putting baby oil in a new chick.
Facts. Okay.
How's that for entertainment?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My mic was kind of muffled. But what I was pretty much saying is I'm in Houston, Texas right now, and I was looking over the Houston conference and everything. So I understand the life insurance, the portion of it. But besides life insurance, I hope you guys can hear me. There's groups around like wherever you guys live at that supports like how Black people can move forward economically. Not all of them are on our side. They'll say they're on our side, just like an Al Sharpton trying to say they're snake salesmen and whatever. They're carpetbaggers or whatever you want to call them. But getting involved in these groups, whether they're new or old, knowing what they're for, should we be focused until I'm for reparations, like I said before, I'm for reparations and all that. Should we also be joining or at least paying attention to these groups to help us economically? Because I think moving forward, our focus needs to be economically, especially in a capitalistic society. We should be focused on economics. I know that we have a lot of leaders, whether they're usually celebrities or church pastors or whatever, who say that we don't need to worry about economics. We need to be worried about, being closer to God. We need to worry about voting Democrats. And, I'm in Houston. Like I said, I'm on the north side of Houston. These guys over here, it's a pure Democrat. It's black folks, Democrats. That's their way of life. Unfortunately, like when Beto started, all type of signs of Beto, and I was kind of disappointed looking at it because Beto never promised them anything, but they would literally spend their time, their resources on promoting Beto, who has done absolutely nothing for them, right? So you're using your resources and time to promote Beto, who's done nothing for you.
Let me just say this. Yeah, and I get everything you're saying, and we're actually about to get out of here. Yeah, but I would say this. Y'all know by now, watching the show, I'm nonpartisan. I don't belong to any party because I just feel like no party really has the interest of Black people. You guys remember that Black people used to be conservative, right? We did those things. Our ancestors, rather, we built our communities and all that stuff during the hardest times ever. And it sounds like it's getting back to that. So, as they say in the Nation of Islam, do for self. Marcus Garvey said, "Up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will." The Honorable Elijah Muhammad always talked about neither party is for us, the Republicans or the Democrats. So we need to get about the business of nation building, right? So that's what we need to focus on. But we cannot build a nation unless we build our own household. Every nation starts with your own household. So we need to get financially literate in our own house, teach our children, teach your mama, teach your daddy, whoever you can touch and you're near and dear to, try to teach them some financial literacy. And, this is just where I am now in my life. And for those that do not want the information, cut them loose, cut them off. Do not answer the phone to them. They are dead weight. They don't want to do anything but to have you drag them along. And Marcus Garvey talked about that. It's not an original idea. He says, there are some Negroes that are no good here, and they'll be no good when we try to go back to Africa. So we need to leave them behind. So we need to get back into that mindset, because we as Black people, we spend too much time trying to drag everybody along. There's some people who don't want to come along. Some people like being in a state of nothingness. They don't want to do nothing. All they want to do is wake up at 12 in the morning. They want to watch TV until the eyes bleed, and they want to wake up and do it again, right? Those people, that's fine. But everybody else that's of the mindset of let's build, let's do something. We're going to get life insurance. We're going to have some stocks and bonds and property. Those type of people, those are the people we need to focus on. And unfortunately, that means we're going to have to cut some of our family members loose too, because they don't want to do better. I always say in life, I will push you, but I'm not going to pull you, because it's too much more effort for me to pull you, right? Normally, if I'm pushing, that means we're kind of doing some of the work too. So it's just really come to that point with Black people, because everybody, other race, they don't bring everybody along either. There's some people they ain't proud of, and you can't come behind the gated community either because your mindset ain't right. So we got to start getting to that. We need to know that the Democrats, Republicans, nobody's coming to save us but us. We'll be better off getting reparations when we unify. That's the only thing we have not done. And they said a long time, the biggest threat to the American society is Negro unity. And they've done so much to keep a schism between us. They know that'll never happen, which is why reparations will never happen, because we are all over the place in our thinking.
Yeah, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, you know what they're doing right now? Having a steak dinner, chilling in their beautiful houses, sitting up probably with their multiple women, sitting up living on the Negro dollar. I'm telling you, man, Al Sharpton, these guys, they're businessmen. And Black people seem to be the only race where we can have these fake leaders represent us. And we're like, okay, we're going to listen to them. I guarantee you right now, it's 8 o'clock in New York. Al Sharpton is probably sitting back with a fat steak and a glass of wine, and he's just cold chilling, stepping on the Negro neck. The hell with these dudes. The hell with all of them. They're not here for us. And every time I see Al Sharpton, well, I don't see Jesse Jackson anymore. I don't know what happened to him. I think he just took the
he's
bag.
up there in age. Yeah, I think he's up there in age.
Yeah, he took the bag and he's like, okay, I got enough in the bag. I'm gonna keep it moving. You know, we need to be our own, what Al Sharpton was supposed to be. Yeah, do we need reparations? Of course, but we will never get it if we keep bouncing all over the place. We got all these different issues. Now we're talking about this chick is in the news because she won't date a guy that drives a bus. And I know she's saying I won't date a guy that makes $30,000 a year or whatever. That's her preference. You know what I'm saying? It don't need to be a whole week because she won't. A lot of y'all sisters won't date a guy that makes $25,000, $20,000 a year.
And some of those sisters ain't got no job.
You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm all for being excellent. Be it you making money or you taking care of your family, your wife makes some money, but you keep the house down. I'm okay with all of it, as long as you guys are pitching in together. But you need to be your own Al Sharpton. You stack money. Every time you make moves, there should be money involved. Right now, it's 5 o'clock in California. I've been up since 4 o'clock. I can tell you the minute I hang up with this podcast, I'm back to work. I said I got my youngest son sitting here. You know, we're trying to get money. All this, the politics and all. I'm trying to be Jay-Z. I'm trying to have money everywhere. And like I told my kids, I don't need to make this money I'm making. I can take the money I have and move to Brazil or Spain or, you know, Ethiopia. I can take what I have right now and go over there and start me a taco truck or whatever food they eat truck, and I can live comfortably and have a beautiful wife. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they sell baby oil over there, so it ain't gonna be no problem. The only reason I'm really busting my ass now is for my kids and my family. So we need to be in control of our own lives. When we start dealing with the money and push everything else aside, like I mentioned First Republic and PacWest and PNC Bank and CFG and Zion and Key Bank and PNC, crickets. That's what we should be focusing. Tomorrow the market opens at 6:30 a.m. California time, 9:30 New York, at 4:30 a.m. Cali, at 7:30 New York. The pre-market opens and that all the news is blaring and you can get engaged and you can make $300-400 a day. I'm telling you, make some money first. Work your job, take a nap, eat, and start working on your side hustle, even if it's shit and it fails. I can tell you, look at my house. I have hundreds of candles everywhere. I've got them burning, and I've been doing this shit for months, and it you know, to the people on the outside, I'm just lighting candles and wasting money. But they don't know if you pump the prime, a little water comes out, and then more water comes out, and before you know it, you're making it rain on fools, and they end there with no umbrella, like, oh shit, it worked. But you got to keep going. And I would rather die, not broke, because broke is a state of mind. I'd rather die not reaching my goals, but knowing that I was chasing it. Because that gives you, somebody asked me the other day, how do you wake up at 4 o'clock without an alarm? Goals, dreams. My mind is like, yo, wake your ass up. We got stuff to do. You got 6 hours, let's go. That's it. You don't need an alarm clock. For most of us, your goals should wake you up. But if we keep waiting on reparations, I'm not saying we don't get them. We need them. We should have them. You know, or at least, okay, you're not going to give us some money? Give us our land back. Let's start with that. And you know who's killing reparations? People, I heard Dr. Umar say, no, we don't need reparations. We need more programs. That is hog shit. No, give us the money. And if we spend the money on crack and weed, so be it. At least the conversation is over. Period.
Yeah,
we don't need more government programs or schools because the schools ain't shit. His school ain't, I don't even know if his school is up and running. The schools ain't shit.
No, it's not.
Ain't nothing happening. Why would we give you Negroes the money for more programs and the programs we got ain't working? BLM, they took that money and transgender that shit, turn the money into something else, and they were in the Bahamas cold drinking margaritas. And Black Lives Matter was just a stepping stone for the LGBT movement. I get it. I had a lot of gay friends. I'm not hating on them, but I'm like, damn, at what point can we actually hold our money and do something with it? We are
right. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, I'm no fan of Umar Johnson, even though I did support Umar Johnson going back 3 years ago. I supported him fully, but I'm completely off that bus looking at his financial record, looking at him, what he's been doing. I think he's actually not in the country right now. I think he's back on vacation right now. So I'm not a Umar Johnson fan. I'm not with Black Lives Matter no more because they burned houses. They didn't help the Black community. I absolutely agree with you. We need to have goals. We need to be focused on not only on our family, but building our community and building our economic base. Building our economic base here in a capitalistic society, I think will give us some leverage, but we also got to get our people to where they understand and politics. One thing that we have ignored and allowed other people to lead us on is politics. We've allowed idiots to lead us on politics. Al Sharpton, I don't know about him in the past, but I know what he stands today. We've allowed celebrities to lead us. Celebrities that have no idea what they're talking about lead us. So I understand what you guys are saying. Thanks for letting me on the panel, by the way. I really appreciate that. You guys are absolutely right. And we do need to get our economic base together. We do need to start understanding the world around us. And my personal belief is that we need to understand where if there's any Black economic groups that's building around us in our communities. Like I said, I'm over here in Houston, Texas. We need to probably either be part of those groups or kind of form our own groups, because online allows us to expand to so many people that we'll be able to build our groups up if we dedicate the time, the knowledge, our mindsets to it. I believe that we can move forward on it, and that's all I want to say on that.
All right, David Norman, thank you so much for coming on here. We love and appreciate you. Come see us again. Melanated Mantra, how you doing? He says RIP 100 meter sprinter Tori Bowie. I don't know who that is, but it sounds like they died. RIP to them. I'm probably sure I'll see it all on the internet once I get off of here. I hate to hear that. One last question here. Hula Gang, how you doing? He says, hey, Walter, what time is good to start checking out the stock market when you live in Cali? Should it be early West Coast time or East Coast time?
Early West Coast. And RIP to FRC Bank. Hallelujah. Yeah. I tend to, the market opens at 6:30. I like to get up a little bit before, because sometimes some companies announce, or during those hours there's nothing going on, so I can really watch the news, the markets, and be clear. So they open at 6:30 Cali time. And I don't wake up at 4:30 every day. Some days I wake up at 6, and some days I wake up at 6. Sometimes I wake up at 7. But historically, I tend to wake up early, turn on Bloomberg and CNBC. If you have an Apple computer, I just learned this yesterday from my son, Evan, you can have 2 screens and have Bloomberg on one and CNBC on the other. If you have an E-Trade account, Bloomberg is free. So, and if you have a smart TV, Bloomberg and Yahoo Finance shows up on them, so you can watch those. And it's not even really just about the stock market. Is you learn a bunch of stuff. Economics. You know how I learned about the war in Ukraine? Bloomberg and CNBC. You know how I learned about Donald Trump and Joe Biden? Joe Biden falling down the stairs of Air Force One? On Bloomberg. I get business ideas. I got into the car business from watching CNBC. They did an episode on AutoNation talking about how Bill Gates, I don't know if Warren Buffett owns a piece of it, but how Bill Gates got into the used car market. And I went, oh shit, maybe I should do it too. And that's how I got into buying and selling cars, because Bill Gates was got into the business. So it just gave me an idea, like, okay, if it's good enough for him, maybe I could do it on my scale. So I would just watch those. There's nothing wrong with Netflix and all that stuff, sure. But like CNBC goes off, I think I want to say 3 or 4 Cali time, which is 7 o'clock on the West Coast. Bloomberg runs all 24 hours, but in the evening they tend to go to the international markets. So what I'm saying is those channels shut down. I think Shark Tank comes on, which is a good show. if you want to have a business. But if you want to watch Netflix and all that stuff, do that stuff in the evening. Like I watch Netflix before I go to bed. Like last night, I watched Top Gun Maverick at like 9:30. I turned it on.
It was good, huh?
Yeah, I've watched it 50 times. I bought it on Amazon. I got a woofer under my couch. I got speakers everywhere. I had candles burning, a glass of wine, and I'm sitting there. I'm communicating with Tom Cruise. I watched that shit so loud, my neighbors' plants were falling off their shelves.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
But the point I'm making is I'm doing that at night so I can live my fantasies late at night. Like I like Billions, which is off the hook. Succession is good, but it's kind of weird. But I learned a lot of hip hop news from Succession. So just watch those things. And even, like I watched CNBC and Bloomberg in the beginning. I didn't get it. I was like, what's with all these tickers? And I didn't understand it, but I just kept watching it. Now it's like the Matrix. I can watch the ticker go by and I'm like, oh, First Republic is from 1:30 to 12. And then so, okay, boom. When it got to like $9, I bought the stock of the puts and they're at 32 cents. Come on, man. Do you know? You take $1,000 and invest it in something like that and it goes your way, you got 5-10 grand. And you only need to do that once in a while. I'm telling you, and even if you get hurt, because like I said, I lost money in the stock market. Matter of fact, I would say half of my trades in the market, I lose everything. I lose everything. If I invest $500, like I put $500 in Amazon, no, $800 in Amazon last week and lost every damn dime. Amazon, I invested before they announced earnings. They killed earnings. The stock went up, and then the dumbass CFO was like, it's going to be tough. And the stock price came falling down. And I lost every penny. I went from investing $800 to having $3,000, and the morning came back, and the shit was like $620. And now it's like $75.
Damn, I sure hate it.
It hurt, but I just kept going, and I bought First Republic, and then I did a couple things with JP Morgan Chase that worked in my favor. And because JP Morgan, when they bought First Republic went into receivership and crashed, but JP Morgan stock flew. So I made money on both trades. You see what I'm saying? But I only got that because I watched CNBC in the mornings and keeping up. And Sarah Eisen, she's so fine. If you don't get anything out of it, I like watching beautiful women. Sonali Blasik is on it. Brothers, if you like watching beautiful women that know they shit, turn on Bloomberg, Yahoo, and CNBC. And you got sisters, Indians, white women, whatever you like, they own there.
And you can tune into the Demetri K show to see that too. But anyway, y'all, we love and appreciate y'all. We love and appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for being here with us on Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. We'll be back next Wednesday. We'll also be back here Sunday with Crazy Donovan. I'm sure we'll have something exciting to talk about. I don't know. But in the meantime, you guys all be blessed. Stay safe out there. We also have ways to help the channel if you would like. And for those of you guys who help all the time, if you like, subscribe, whatever it is, thank you so much. We could not be the Demetri K show without you. One cool uncle, how you doing? Well, I love you watching me. Mwah. Peace.
Yeah.